on their problem is neglecting your problem. Good morning, family. Black Feniks checking in. I'm inside of the HogOn University this morning, and I was up drinking a little coffee, and I was just thinking about how, as people, just people, we tend to focus on other people's problems or what their problem is to us instead of us working on our personal problems. Like, you'll have someone that will leave comments or inbox or send emails talking about what you need to do with your business when they're not even running the type of business you're running. I can see if they're giving you some insight on, man, I'm doing this, I tried this wasn't working, but this is working now. Maybe you should try this. But 9 times out of 10, majority of it be like, you should do this. Oh, well, I don't see this going on. Wait a minute, you should do that. Well, I was told you had to do it this way. One thing I learned, man, um, when we learn to find our peace, everybody's peace is different. We all look for peace and pleasure and possessions. But once you get older or once you start wising up, I'm going to say that your peace isn't in none of those things. It's in, a 9 times out of 10 is in the value you can add to someone else. You get peace out of adding value to someone, out of helping someone, pouring your life into someone. And, we know we living in a materialistic world, fam. Like, America is all about the money. They'll sell you anything. Before they save you, they'll sell you something. I seen a meme the other day that a man was drowning and the guy was in front of him trying to, had 3 different sizes of life jackets to throw him. Hey, which one? You want the one for 20, 15 to 30? You know what I'm saying? It was just funny because it's crazy. That's how it is. We tend to point the finger, man, and it's crazy because I remember someone say when you point the finger like this, 3 of them is pointed back at you and 1 of them is pointed up at God. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to blame somebody, it looks like you got to take some personal initiative about what you're doing. If it's something that you want to do personally with your life, build, don't look at the flaws or, there's nothing wrong. Like, constructive criticism is always, needed, and it is useful to growing and getting yourself together. But to just give a person some criticism unneeded just to break them down or to tear them down, man, I think that it shows the true character of that person. If some people will literally wake up like, how can I find something to somebody else to tell them what they ain't doing right? You know what I'm saying? And when, there's surely something in their personal life they can be working on. I don't cast no stones, fam, because, I know who I am, you know what I mean? I can't judge anyone, you know what I mean? I just tell a person to be a go-getter. Sometimes when you're on the grind, you get tired, so you need to rest, you know what I mean? But that's different than being lazy, you know? You got people that put in work all the time, fam, and then you get to a point where your body tired, you're like, man, I got to, regroup and do something else. And you might not do what you was normally doing at a specific age or a certain time in your life because you grew into something else and you're still working, but now you're doing something different. And I think that we just have to focus on how we're growing, what we want to do. And if it's something that you want to do, fam, let me say this. And I love stating this. Let me say this for the record. If it's something that you see in someone, or if it's something that you want, you looking for some type of peace, some type of happiness, something, and you see it in someone else, don't think that you're going to hate them or dislike that they got it and you don't have it and you think you're going to get it. It don't work like that. You got to learn how to appreciate someone else on a level that you're trying to get to. Like, I love seeing people in different levels. I don't care what color they is. I like to see people in positions that I want to be in. And if I can't talk to them personally and ask them a question, I'm going to watch them and see what can I do to get myself in that position. But I'm not going to criticize them and wonder, man, how they get there. I don't know how they got there. I don't know what they went through. And sometimes you hear the stories of how certain people got to where they got to, and be like, man, you want to be in their shoes, and then you realize, no, I don't want to be in the shoes. I was listening to a story about George Washington Carver, you know, and this brother this brother was adopted into a white family, and family when they adopted him into the family, the father, I don't know, probably the mother too, they agreed, whoever, the household agreed that they would castrate him just in case if he ever had a thought, to mess with their daughter, and he was, little. So they castrated this man. And they used to think the man was probably, a little different. Maybe he was gay, because they never seen him with women, and he was into the plants and into engineering ideas. And come to find out that he had been castrated, so he had a high-pitched voice. And he was talking to the plants, and they was criticizing him as thinking he was crazy. Man, he's talking, he's like, nah, the plants show us things. And he gave, I ain't gonna say gave, he gave him some information, but also the reason why we know Ford is being one of the mass production trucks is because they got the plant. That's what they call it, family. They call it the plant, where they can reproduce these vehicles at a fast rate, fast amount. And they got this from this black man, and we go through Black history and we don't know a lot of things, but we don't know why things are the way that they are. But we understand in America, there's always 2-3 sides to the story. You're never getting the full truth of anything, fam. You're never getting the full truth of anything. So we had to realize that, before we start casting judgment on people and not knowing, like a lot of times we're born and we just think that, oh, they just like this. Oh man, they just do this. You gotta do a little research on people. Do a little research before you cast a stone. You know what I mean? And allow a person to be who they are. A lot of times we are willing to be who we are, and we have this preconceived notion that how people should be and how things should go. And 9 times out of 10, the person that feels that way don't even live by the code, but they'll see someone doing something and it'll just, you're not doing that correctly. That's not right. What, sometimes you like, what gives you the audacity to feel that you can tell someone to do something that doesn't pertain to your life. You know what I mean? But some people act like it really bothers them to see you do something that they heard traditionally wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? Man, it bothers them, man, when you do something that is different than their traditions, This morning, honestly, I'm just up thinking about it, thinking about how, how people are, and I just say people because this can be a whole, you know what I mean? This can come from different sides, man, because people tend to, I think we all as people tend to feel sometimes you'll get more rejection from your family, and then you'll get more embracing from strangers or from someone else. And then you also got the families that, got that embracement and that love, but they neglected in another area. To me, I think it's life, fam. We live as parents. One thing I used to think, used to think that parents, what they told you was written in stone, but they told you what was working for them at that moment, at that time. And some things are valuable, but other things was just, for that time. You know what I mean? It's a different time now, fam, especially for Black natives, um, for awakeness, for people being woke, for Black businesses, for awareness. People are waking up and really wanting to build something independent, really want to give back to the community, really want to get some generational wealth, really want to get some freedom. not just, once we get the financial literacy, as Jay Morrison say, we got to get the freedom. The goal is the freedom. The freedom is what you get once you get your own systems. So if you just have your money and you still operating in their system, you're not free. But the goal is freedom, fam. It's not to get $1 billion, but that $1 billion can get you freedom. You know what I mean? But the goal is freedom, and as long as you working for the system, or you independently working for the system until you learn how to literally transfer it over where the business is working for you. You can see we go from steps, fam. We go from literally just working for someone. And then some of us will just continue to work for someone for the rest of our life. And some of us will do it for a few years, 5, 10, 15 years, or 20, and say, hey, I want to do my own thing. Now you independent. Now you independent, you're doing your own thing, but everything still solely relies on you. So if you go down, the business go down. It's not that nobody got to wake you up and you got to be there at a certain time, but if you don't get up and take care of business, you ain't gonna make no money, fam. So we have to transition from not just only just doing the independent business. We have to transition over to the LLC and the corporation, learning how to allow our business, our money, to make us money. And sometimes, when you do certain things, and people tend to cast stones like, well, how are you charging like this? Man, I don't see how you making any money. See, sometimes it ain't about how much money you make. It's about how much money you invest. Because you can invest a small amount that can do bigger than what you're making. You know what I mean? So I don't really look at the numbers. I look at me investing in someone and making it fair for me. And as long as, I don't have to go punch no clock or go hear no BS from no man, you know what I mean? Then it's all right with me. You know what I mean? I feel like I wrap things around my bare minimum. I mean, what I would like to do in my comfort zone. So I can be able to do what I like to do in my comfort zone, still make money, still help them, and still be able to help someone prosper without breaking the bank. Now, there is longer courses and more things that we can do, but why try to stretch something out and give a person way more information than what is needed just so I can make some money? I'm gonna give a person what they need, fam. So that's why on my MIG welding classes right now in this area, that's a need. And in other areas I be in, stick welding is a need. So I just hit where the need is, and I try to tailor the need to the rural areas and to the people that I know I'll be networking with. And I know that anywhere from $250 to $1,000 is something that a person can actually save up or get the money up to invest in themselves. And then once they start working and making money and get a job, they can easily, replace that and replenish that money. And they don't have to come back to me and constantly pay me. Man, I'm still in the hole. Like you go to a school, most people, I just seen some folks go to college for 4 years or 2 years for 20 grand or 30 grand. And the amount of welding skills that they have is unreal, fam. You know what I mean? So it's not about, to me, if you get caught up on trying to get a piece of paper. Some people ask about that. Hey, man, am I going to get certified? I said, I like to tell people, man, the way they do it now, if you're looking for a job, they're going to certify you on a job. They want to know that you have the skills. I'm going to make sure, and I'm going to give you a certificate of completion, but to get you certified, you're going to have to do what I did. Go take that test with that card, go spend anywhere from $175 to $600 or more, depends on what type of testing you're trying to get. If it's pipe welding to TIG welding tests to structural tests, it just depends on what you're trying to do. But I like to cater it to the area, keep it simple. I know that once your person get a piece of the skill and they're hungry, they'll take off with it. I got a student right now, 20 years old, fam. He's been doing so good. I done taught him. We done did 4 positions in the MIG welding. We have done horizontal, flat, vertical down, and overhead. And man, the man is crushing it, fam. And it encouraged me because I can tell he's hungry, but I can also tell he's interested and he wants it. And when I show him certain things, it hits him. He like, man, I get it. He said, man, I wasn't even looking at it like that. So I explained something to him. And I want to explain this to you too, for those who are getting into the MIG welding field or getting into the welding field. The only difference The only difference between welding flat and welding overhead is overhead. The position is still the same. Your travel speed, your angle, everything is still the same. So just take it like you're doing it flat and just do it this way. It's the same. It's the same thing. Once I dropped one down and I did a bead for him in the overhead position, and I showed him, he inched like this first bead. It was like, oh, he was like a little nervous. I said, hey man, you got this. Don't panic. I showed him, and I said it's the same thing as doing flat. Once he realized that it did one, family. When I tell you he showed out, the man showed out yesterday. And I'm not, when you're doing the class, you can teach someone when you see that they got some skills. So the constructive criticism I'm giving him is, you got it. Okay, tighten this up a little bit. Think like this. I'm not saying, oh man, that's wrong. Man, that's just wrong. Nah, that ain't gonna work. Nah, you can't do it like that. Nah, that ain't gonna work, man. You got to be like this. I'm not gonna be able to get over to this man if I'm talking to him like that. You know what I mean? So I understand that our communication has a big deal to do with us getting ourselves over the hump and with helping other people. Grand rising. Our communication got a lot to do with us helping other people. You know what I mean? So, sometimes, we can be in relationships too, fam, that we outgrow. Every relationship that we be in is not lifetime. Sometimes we try to turn a temporary situation to a lifetime situation, and sometimes we settle and just say, hey, you know what? This is what it is. I'm just gonna deal with this and ride it on out. But if you're not at peace, fam, life is short. I don't know what you're going through personally, but I know I've been losing loved ones my age, a little over, a little younger. Like, it's been crazy. Like the last 90 days, it's been sad. So I count my blessings, and I realize now more that I would rather spend my time around those I really love, or doing something that I really love doing. And, I don't mind working, doing what I enjoy doing versus than being oppressed doing it, or being in a situation where I'm not happy and it's causing me to age and causing me to be down and depressed and upset and snapping on folks. And I'm always, timid and just, ready to go on one. I don't want to be like that, fam. Like, life is too short to always walk around with all that pressure on your shoulders. You know what I mean? We dealing with enough, as individuals. Everybody's going through something, and as African Americans, Black natives, just walking around this color, boy, I tell you what, it's like you got a bounty on your head. You know what I mean? You never know who got an issue just with you being you. And it is what it is. You know what I mean? And I didn't seen it. I only talk about things that I have experienced. You know what I mean? I've experienced a lot of tension, racial tension on jobs, even doing what I'm doing. Like, I'm independent, fam, and I do my own advertisement. I reach out, I help people, I do my class, I do what I do, and I still, receive some type of hate, like trying to do certain things. People try to overcharge, but I got to send somebody else in. It is what it is, fam. It's 2022. I still got to, be a wolf at what I do, but I got to put on the sheep clothes and send somebody else in to do certain things. Like, man, I'm independent. I'm a wolf at this, but I got to go in like this. It's still 2022, fam, and I'm in Arkansas. I'm in McGee, Arkansas, and it is what it is, fam. I have even had people ask me, who gonna let me do this? So I said, huh? Who gonna let me do my business? Who I talk to? Hey, I talk to myself. You know what I mean? We dealing with, small amount of individuals, fam, still, and being down here, to be realistic with you, sometimes I think, I laugh to myself, but I really think that a lot of the people that still here, especially from the cotton fields that I know and that I witnessed growing up, I realized that I had people that left here as soon as they got the cotton field, they got chance, they shot out, they got, went up north, they, went to a better situation. And you got those who stayed on the plantation, fam, who decided they gonna, help so-and-so out, and they still working for them right now. They still listen to them. Someone else get hired, some of them will be like, they'll try to cut your throat for the job. You know what I mean? I done seen them with just riding around here. You know what I mean? I'm like, dang, you know, the mentality is sad, but it's not my, you know, it's not up on me to point no finger at nobody. I'm just aware of it. It's like if I allow a sleepwalker to hurt me, fam, then it's my fault. Because if a sleepwalker is walking and I see him, I can step out the way, let him keep going. If I stand here and I know he coming and he got this thing in his hand, he gonna poke me with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get out the way, fam. You know what I mean? So, you know, I just feel like that's what we have to do. We have to recognize the sleepwalkers. We have to recognize those who are woke and those who are not. And, you know, we just have to work on ourselves, fam, to stop casting judgment. Everybody got a different way of doing something. Everybody was raised different in different households. Everybody was taught a different language. You know what I mean? But one universal thing is love. Love is universal. You know what I mean? Truth is universal. You know, helping someone. You know, seeing someone in need and just organically helping them. You know what I mean? Like I say, I formed this program of the salute. Thanks for checking in. It's rising. I formed this program with the HogOn University to help the ages from 12 to 24 in the Black community, in the rural areas, the inner city, because, you know, it's targeted. We are targeted, fam. And they say by 12, you know, through 24, we're going to be dead, in prison, addicted to a harmful drug, you know. So in order for us to break that chain and that cycle, we have to give more information. And if you look at some of these youngsters out here now, a lot of them, fam, don't know how to sweep the floor. A lot of them don't know how to, you know, wash the dishes, you know, don't know how to do basic things. And, you know, they just living. So, you know, we have to, you know, I'm learning now that we have to do more than just teach them skills. We have to give them character too. So it's just little things that you give a person just from them watching you. I heard a guy say one day, I was teaching, after we had did the class and we was talking, he was like, you know, it was a few things that you was doing that I was catching on to that you didn't have to say, but I was just watching you and I was like, that's it. I see why you do that now. And even though I was showing him, but it was certain things I was showing him off of my character and the way I was moving and doing certain things. So, you know, there's many ways to teach someone, but pointing the finger at them, family, is not going to wake them up. But you do have to be firm on certain things, you know, like even with raising our kids, you know, we have to realize that if a certain way didn't work for us, why are we trying to preach it on our kids and tell them they need to do this? It didn't work for you. You know it didn't work for you because you unhappy, you sad, you unsatisfied. If it worked for you, then we could be seeing it in your lifestyle. But it's not working for you. You're not happy. You're not at peace. You're probably neither not with the person that you really want to be with, if you with someone at all. But you want to promote something to your kids, man. Your kids are individuals. God used you as a vessel. That's what God used me as a vessel to bring my kids here. Their purpose is not connected to me, but part of their lineage and their looks and their behavior is connected to me. But I can be the one to help go out there and garden it, make sure it's clean and give them some good game. You know, that's what I want to do. I don't want to bash them because I want them to be they like. You know, I want my son to be who he want to be, not who I want him to be. I want my daughter to be who she want to be, not who her mama want them to be. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have no problem with allowing a person to be them, you know. And I think today, you know, in this day and age, especially in rural areas, man, I've seen the mentality of people really want to control a narrative that's not working. You know, you can't. I'm gonna tell you something, fam. Someone that ain't rich can't teach you how to be. Can't teach you how to get rich. Someone who isn't wealthy, can't teach you how to be wealthy. And one thing I know, a person with a poor mindset can't teach you how to find peace, fam. You know, you're gonna see contention and this strife and anger and all type of disorder in them. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be evident. You know, so our goal as parents, grandparents. I'm a grandparent now, and let me get some coffee behind that. Family, I am a grandfather, a pawpaw. That's what I used to call my grandfather, pawpaw, and we were close, man. I can't believe it that I made it. I'm 42 years old, fam. 42. They said I wasn't gonna make it to see 18. Like, a few times, and I ain't gonna lie to you. A few times I thought I wasn't gonna make it, and I'm here today. You know what I mean? And everything I went through was a part of getting me here. Me going to prison for 10 years, from 15 to 26 years old. Me experiencing the way I was raised and traveling, going from here and there, and packing up, going there, going to this person's house, and going to that person's house, you know. All of it, when it was all said and done, you know, it all got me here. And I don't even, you know, I feel like, honestly, that I'm not done. I feel like there's a lot more I have to do, but I know that you know, I'm leaving back. I'm going to be leaving some footprints behind. You're a grandmother, I feel you. It's something else, ain't it? You know what? I'm going to tell you something. Being a grandparent, you know, I got two of my youngest kids with me now. My son is 10, he'll be 11, and my daughter is 15, she'll be 16 this year. And my oldest is 24, she'll be 25. And my two grandbabies, I have two grandbabies of mine, and I have two grandbabies in my marriage. So I have two grandbabies by my daughter that is, I think she's gonna be 3, and my grandson is 4. She'll be 3 this month on the 25th. And then my wife got 2 grandbabies, and I believe by her son, one by her son and one by her daughter, and 2 boys. And I believe both of them is 5 and 7. I believe 5 and 7. So, you know, being around kids, being around them, you know, it's different than having your kids. It's almost like, I get it now. I'm gonna tell you what it's like. It's almost like if you went wrong with your kids, you get a second chance with your grandbabies. Like something that you want to give them, maybe some information you want to tell them, because them kids, man, they look up to the grandbaby. I mean, to the grandparents. Man, you can tell them something, man, and they'll hold on to it. Because I remember to this day things that my grandfather did to me, skills that my grandfather gave me. My grandfather taught me how to cut hair, family. I never went to no barber school, but if you show me a picture, show me what you want, I can do it. And I got that from my grandfather, you know what I mean? And if I stay on it all the time, I can be hard, but that ain't what I do all the time. But I can jump in and get a bag and look at, oh yeah, I can do that and make it look good, you know, as long as I got the proper equipment, because that's what I learned. Having the proper tools is everything. And I'm still using it to this day, man. I'm helping people all the time doing it, you know what I mean? And it surprised me because, you know, he said he's gonna teach me how to fish. Being young, you know, you didn't get it. And I literally, family, we never went fishing. So we never went fishing. So I'm like, how you gonna teach me how to fish if we never go fishing? He gave me a trade, fam. He gave me my first skill, you know, using my hands. And now I'm still using my hands with welding and fabrication and writing and designing things, you know. So it's crazy how the grandparents can invest in the grandchildren. So when I see them now, I like to, you know, give them game and talk to them and put good stuff in their mind, because I know if I see, I'm gonna tell you what we have to notice. As a grandparent, this is what I noticed. And as a father now, really realizing what's going on. Our kids are born with purposes, family. They got gifts. They got God-given gifts. And maybe what you want them to be, you was a great football star. You might, oh, I want my son, but maybe that might not be his purpose. You see what I'm saying? He might have something. And it's your goal as a father to sit back, as a parent, mother, to sit back and see, man, he like drawing. He pretty good at that. Start buying things of drawing. Start putting them in environments where he can be able to be enhanced on his ability to really fine tune what he's doing with his drawing. You know what I'm saying? Start helping him with his engineering. If he like to build, start giving him Lego. Oh, he can build that. Oh, let me get him this. We have to start learning how to sit back and start being selfish and wanting them to be what we couldn't be, and let them be what they supposed to be born for, because it might be different, you know. You know what's so funny? Those who believe in Christ, when he was around the village, everybody just knew him as the carpenter's son. His daddy taught him to trade. He's gonna be just like his dad. And we get to doing things. Who is that? Is that the cop? Man, that's just so and so. Being around sometimes where you from, people can get the wrong impression. You know what I mean? When you got a gift, because his gift was bigger than what his dad was doing. What his earthly father was doing. And once he started doing other things, they could have instantly tried to keep him from doing it. When he first got started, they had to go in the synagogue to go get him because he ended there preaching to preaching to them. They're like, man, who is this kid? This kid talking like this, And so when a person has a blessing on their life, man, you can't shallow it out with what you want it to be. You have to see what it is and start nurturing that, and that's one thing that I realize now. I try to nurture my kids, especially when I see that, they got something good. And like my daughter, she want to do business. She want to own her own, and my other, she want to go to college to do these things so she can help with this and that, with psychology and with biology, what I mean? She got some bright ideas. And if that's what she want to do, I want to motivate her. And then she also aware, awaken on Black history. And she real, she's starting to get more into her Afrocentric and really learning more about her people and understanding things and helping her understand certain things. And then I had to break down the truth as far as how things are with mixed kids to them, because, we don't understand. And I know when I grew up, I didn't understand. And she, her and my son was like, they telling people like, we 50-50, because they Black and white. But I was like, you're not 50-50, baby. You're really more like 90 something, and a small percentage of, I said, because it comes from the father. My seed is, had my seed impregnated your mom, and she was the carrier. So it got entwined with hers to get some of her DNA, but the life came from me. So you're not, you're mixed, but you're Black. I said, but your grandson, I got a grandson by my daughter, his dad is white and my daughter is Black. Now I said, now both of y'all are mixed, but he's white and he's mixed. His mom is Black. His seed comes from his dad. In his birth certificate, it even said he's white because his dad is white. So, a lot of things like that we don't really know, but I wanted to explain it to them to let them know that, yeah, you mix, yeah, you around this, but this is who you are when you come from me, because the lineage comes from the father. It don't come from the mother. The mother is the carrier, but the lineage comes from the father. So we have to realize and see how important it is. And that's why I understand now why as Black fathers and as Black men, we are so under attack in America and throughout the country, because our seed is so dominant. Whatever we touch, whatever our seed touch, it becomes us. You can literally see that that's us. We the only race that can produce another color and still be Black. Albino. So, God created something, man, that was amazing. And he used, if you go look through biblical or science, we all know that the Black man was the first man, a dark-skinned person. And then people went from there. But a lot of times we don't want to accept the truth. We'd rather embrace a lie. But this is biblical science. This is proven. But, we want to show our kids a picture of America like it's bigger than Africa and like it's bigger than China and like it's bigger than, and we're a little bitty place. But that's how they show you on the map. And the kids grow up like, man, I thought we was, nah, it's bigger than what you think it is. I always tell people, life is bigger than your backyard, fam. So, when I talk to my kids, I like to let them know that, man, that's why we are so endangered as a Black man, because we was brought to America, and in order for them to enslave us like they did, they had to make us forget about who we was, where we come from. Why do you think it was so important that they didn't want us to learn, that they made us forget our names, that it was against the law, that they would literally beat you, rape you in front of the other people, just so you could be humble and say, no, that ain't my name. I'm Toby. I'm John. or whatever, you know what I mean? But we don't want to embrace that truth. But we have to pass it down. It's so crazy that when it comes to African American history or black culture, people want to shine a people want to put a blanket over it. Let's not talk about it. But then they can talk about all the stuff that they can keep other countries that's been enslaved alive, But we as black African Americans, so that's what they call us. We are the only descendants of slaves in America. Straight descendants. So especially being here, like me being down here more in rural South, like it's real, fam. Like you still got guys out there working on the farm, still working for these folks, getting checks. Most people pay with cash. They let you know the system, this can be 2022, but they system is still in work strong here. White supremacy is strong, you know what I mean? And it's not just in this area, but when you come to the South, it's almost like they would bash a family member, kill a brother or sister before they disrespect somebody white down here, and it's sad. And I didn't see it. Oh, Alabama too. Woo, you in Alabama? Hey, I done been through Alabama. You know what I mean? I done been through there. I done been through a couple cities, and I done seen it. I done been through a couple cities, passing through where it had 1,000 rebel flags. I said, okay, I understand. I get your point. I understand where you're coming from. You know what I'm saying? Like they had so many rebel flags on trees and hanging on those light posts, man. It was like it really kind of caught me off guard. I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. I see what you represent. I'm getting on down. You know what I'm saying? Certain places, man, it is what it is. We got a mentality, and I don't knock nobody, man. This is what I say, and that's just like sleepwalking. We know that in certain places we can't go. And I like to tell people I love the RV life, man. Like I love to travel, like and whoever had never did it need to do it. Need to travel, need to try to experience. But you also got to be cautious in the RV life. I put up a video talking about a few things we need to know as African Americans, living the RV life. And I was just talking randomly, but then I really got to thinking about how I had to maneuver myself. Like I had to make sure I called in advance and let them know I was black. I have even done where I called and they told me they ain't had none. My wife is white at the time. I have her call. They say, oh, yeah, yes, miss, yeah, we got. So what kind is it? Now, we didn't go there, but I wanted to prove to her that it's real out here. Sometimes, people will see, but then they have to really see it. This is what it looked like. Let me show it to you. This is America. You know what I mean? And she's like, man, like we'd have been together and had people drive by, call me niggas. I'm like, man, just drive by, just as I'm eating lunch, in certain places, So, it's, hey, man, we have to be aware of Black history, Black culture, and we got to be humble enough to not get bitter, because you're going to get angry, fam. I mean, I think you got a right to be angry once you see what happened to us, and once you visit certain museums, you got a right to be angry, but don't be bitter. We have to learn that, okay, it's time for us to build our own systems. It's time for us to educate our people. It's time for us to wake up and stop being so petty and enjoy life. Like, a lot of the traditional things that we honor in the South was passed down off cotton fields and slave fields. Like that stuff ain't even accurate, like taking care of yourself and being modest and being respectful and being God-fearing. Man, I respect that. But this is 2022 now. You can't just tell someone, oh, because they wore a shirt with no sleeves on that they're a prostitute. Come on, we know what prostitute look like. That's not what that is, you know what I mean? But you have certain people that literally feel certain ways is you going to hell. You know what I mean? And me personally, I feel like hell and heaven is on earth. We're gonna experience both here. It's all a choice. It's a choice. And it's not a choice. We don't have a choice on the situation we're born in. But once we grow up and we get to a certain level, if we are blessed to see a certain age, then we can turn a hell situation into a heaven. We can move from that area and go over here and find our peace and say, hey, I'm happier over here than I ever been in my life. We can do that, but we have to wake up though. And we have to, like I say, not look at somebody else's problem and neglect our own, you know what I mean? But traveling the RV family, I learned so much, and I like it. But one thing that I didn't like about it, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't like the fact that every park I went to, fam, I'm going to be honest with you, was owned by somebody white. Every park. I could not find an all-black RV park nowhere. Now, I ain't saying it don't exist, but I couldn't find one. Every one I went through, I was almost like I was a sore thumb. You know what I'm saying? Literally a sore thumb, And I was at one for a while where, eventually the people got cool with me being there, and, it was a good relationship, but, people still tend to judge you off of what you look like until you open your mouth and get to talking to them. Like, oh, man, you ain't that type of person at all. Man, I want to come over here and barbecue with you and have my kids at your house. Well, talk to me at first. Now we over barbecuing and jumping in the lake with the kids, and you know what I mean? That's the reality, fam. I have witnessed it, so I like to tell my kids, I'm glad that you in a situation, and this is just realistic by them being mixed, they're going to have a little bit better ease than I did, a little bit more compassion, because white America feel like, well, you got some of me in you, so you're not going to be as mad, as angry, It's crazy, but when you're conscious, it seems like you're angry all the time because you state how you feel, or you see the racism, or you see the hatred. You're crazy. How you feel me, huh? Yeah, I know you feel me. It's crazy, but it's crazy. That's the way they look at things, though. And the more I'm down here in this rural area, fam, I tell you, like, I have to stay to myself a lot. I have to be alone in my own zone a lot because I'm not afraid of nobody else. You know what I mean? I know what I'm capable of doing. I know what I'm willing to do, and I know my limitations. I don't have none, especially when it comes to mine. So I stay out the way because I don't look at things like others do. I only have two options in my mind: survive or don't survive. I'm gonna survive, and whatever it comes with surviving, that's what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? Some people, they gonna make excuses about everything. I had to go to Atlanta to do an event, and I'm a member there, and I wanted to put my face there, and I wanted to see the kids, and I want to talk to some of the kings and queens, that I met, and I wanted the fellowship. And then also turning right back around, I had to pick up my kids in Conway, so I had to drive extra. So I was on the road like 14, 15 hours, just to make sure after I did that, I could grab my kids. I could have told them, man, give me a couple of days, let me rest, and I'm gonna come and get you. But they was ready to go. And so, I just said, you know what? Let's make it happen. I went and got them, you know what I mean? So, them sacrifices we have to make, fam. I missed that message. What you say? Man, you know what? I think once we grow up and we start finding our peace, we start getting relaxed at waking up and tending to our little chores and doing our business and preparing for our day and, getting ourselves together, you know what I mean? That can bring you a lot of peace. I know people that I had a grandmother, she used to get up every morning, fix herself up like she was going somewhere. Wasn't going nowhere, sit at the house, looking pretty all day. But if you go to the store, you see her outside the yard, nobody ever seen my grandmother on a bad day until she got sick. She was always, this is my dad's mother. She was always on the game, And they talk about my sister now. They be laughing at her because my sister loved to wear heels, and we was at the family reunion. She had some tennis shoes on. And people was like, Holly got some tennis shoes on? She ain't all dressed up, like, that was kind of funny to me. She still looked good, but she had tennis shoes on. They were like, no, she ain't wear no tennis shoes, So it was just funny, you know what I mean? But growing up, fam, in these rural areas and experiencing experiencing life now coming back. Cause I'm back here now and I see things so raw now, fam. You know, it just I have to stay out the way. You know, I really do. But I really enjoy, you know, I enjoy seeing certain people in rural areas, old man taking care of themselves. Some of them be up there at the gas stations. There's an old man named Mr. Gully. I got to give him a shout out. He used to be a police, a sheriff, or something like that in Arkansas City. I seen him up there, and another gentleman let him know who I was and say, "Hey, you know that young man right there is?" He said, "No, who is that?" He said, "Man, that's so and so, so and so." He's like, "Boy," he jumped up and walked over to me and asked me did I know who he was. And I was like, "Yeah, Mr. Gull, I know who he is." He shook my hand and we got to talking. And dude was telling him about, he doing this and he welding, got his company doing this. He teaching over there in the mama house. He fixed his mama house up. And, I didn't even know that the guy that was telling him all this knew all this. I'm looking like, dang, you know all that about me? You know what I mean? He telling this man, this is old school guy. And he's like, "Man, I'm really proud of you." And I remember this old man when I was young and I was staying in a little trouble down there. Not in a whole lot, but he used to come and get me or tell my granddad, "Hey, come down there and get him." Them folks gonna get him now. Y'all don't get no hold on. They gonna send him down there. You know what I'm saying? So he was one of the ones that I can say he was a good guy, man. And for me to see him, retired, and going up there at the gas station talking, to what they do, they're up there talking and flirting. What the old school man do, talk, flirt to everybody come through there. You know what I mean? And to see him, man, it was just pretty cool. To witness someone that I witnessed, that I grew up, still here and was, that was around my grandfather, you know what I mean? And my grandfather was, I believe, older than him. And I learned a lot from my grandfather, fam. Boy, I think about it now, boy, my granddaddy, I was laughing the other day. My grandfather, he gave me, I would say my grandfather gave me more of an eye for women. Like he gave me, like he used to tell me, "Man, you gotta have more than 2 girlfriends." This is my papa telling me this here, you know what I mean? And you little, you listen to that, you like, do it. So you thinking, you all messed up. So now when I talk to my son and my grandbabies, I talk to them, but I don't promote stuff like that to them, but you do want to see, you want to do, as a heterosexual male, you do want to make sure your grandbaby like girls, at certain ages, they know they ain't into that. When they get to talking, say, "Boy, you find out, oh, I like this girl, I'll be playing with so and so." You like to see stuff like that, you know what I mean? Yeah, you got to shop around. So I like to talk to them and give them stuff to help them, be better. I don't want to tell them to go out and do something, because I know that they'll listen to me, So I don't want to tell them to do nothing negative, but I want to be like, King Solomon said, "Do everything under the sun that brings you happiness." We're going to have errors. If you want to try something, you say, "Oh, I want to try it." Well, try it. If you make it through it, then you made it through it. Then now you got a testimony from it. But I'm not going to hold you back. He said, live life. We got to learn our own things. He said, "I did everything under the sun so I can see the reason of things." I love to read Ecclesiastes now because it makes me realize more about, finding peace now. Because he was like, you know, he said, "Man, I found no peace in a man that works all the time and go home and then he end up having to, having to die. He's had or eating all day and supporting somebody. It's like he went through all these different things. Man, I didn't have friends. I tried 1,000 women. I did this." Like his story was just phenomenal. And he was just like, you know what? The whole conclusion of the matter is fear God, keep his commandments, and enjoy the fruit of your labor. Enjoy the fruit of your labor when it's all said and done. And when you think about it like that, how can why you want to point the finger? Oh, you hear him in the background? I was actually the guy right across the street, because y'all know I'm in the South. You know you hear him. The guy right across the street from me got a couple roosters and got some chickens over there. I don't know. He probably got something else over there too. But you know, they got a couple people that got a little farm, got a little gardens in their backyard. And I ain't gonna lie, I want one. You know, I'm gonna make me a garden, give me some chickens. I think that'd be dope. You know what I'm saying? Once I give me a little piece of land, I won't do that because, you know, when you think about it, you know, that's what it's going back to. So, you know, my grandfather had it. So it's like I'm going backwards, you know. It brings back memories, huh? Yeah. I'm in the South right now. Yeah, I'm in the South. You know what I mean? It's country down here. You know what I mean? It's country. But, you know, I ain't gonna lie to you. I was talking to a guy the other day, and he was talking about, man, I don't want to raise no kids down here. I can't wait to leave. And I told him, I said, man, I've traveled fast. I've been all over. And one thing I can honestly say, raising kids, and it's like, you know, raising kids in this area, there's nothing wrong with it. You just have to educate them. We have to learn how to educate our own and train our own. And I feel we should homeschool our kids, honestly. You know, public schools is good to help build character at a certain age, I would say. But if you really want to, you know, give them the information they needed, you can homeschool them and still have them in public projects, you know. But, you know, to each his own. But with the education of being around here, and a lot of times I see kids walking around and playing, and they ain't worried about nobody riding through snatching them up. They ain't snatching them up in vans around here, like different places, man. I done been in cities where I done seen people walking around with leash things on their arms connected to their kids. Because if they turn their head, the kid might be gone. You know what I mean? So we have to be grateful, man, and thankful for the blessings, you know, it is to be in these rural South areas, you know, country areas. Because once you leave, things are different, you know. So like I say, there's nice communities everywhere. But to be able to see the kids run the streets and play, that was cool because, you know, other places I go, they can't do that. You know what I mean? You don't see that. You know, just like my cousin got a girlfriend from California. We was at my house at the family reunion. We out here at the family reunion, everybody cooking, you know, talking, laughing, music blasting, cars post up down the street, and, you know, people chilling, drinking, smoking, kids over there playing, all type of stuff going on. And she was, you know, a little timid looking around like, yeah, man. He said, man. And I was like, what's wrong? She was like, man, I'm from California. She's like, we can't do this. She said, man, we got to be in the house. We got to be somewhere, man. Somebody come through here and get the shooting. But I was like, for real, you know what I mean? But we at home. And out here in the country, we can do that. Like, we ain't worried about this. We had the whole street blocked off, fam, and full of family. Everybody enjoying one another, you know. And the next day, I never forget it. Me and the grandbabies and my son got up and picked up the paper and everybody yard. Because, you know, respect your neighbors, you know what I mean? Didn't nobody trip, didn't nobody call no cops, you know, it wasn't no bad situation. Man, it was fun. Wasn't no fighting, wasn't no drama, you know. It was actually one of the most perfect events I've been to up to this point, you know, especially with my family, man. It was great. You know, that was like, to me, that was heaven on earth. You know, I experienced heaven on earth that day. That was, you know, I got a chance to see, you know, a lot of people that I loved, and it was dope. And now that I think about it, like I say, you know, I look forward to things like this. This morning, like I said, I'm just coming to you, bidding family, just talking, want to hold a conversation. And, you know, just talk about, you know, working on ourselves, you know, not just pointing the finger, you know, if it's, you know, it's nothing wrong with constructive criticism, fam. But I'm going to be honest with you, there's no information a person can give me if they never done it. I don't want to hear it. If you're not doing what I'm doing, I have done it, or exceeded, or messed up and gave up, there's nothing I can get from you. But if you did it and you say, man, I did this, I might get some game from you. But someone that's trying to give you some information, they ain't doing nothing you doing, they ain't on that train of thought, man, don't listen to them. Don't be no fool. Because one thing for sure, a fool can't teach you how to be smart. Unless you watch it, unless you learn. You remember that old commercial that used to say, you can learn a lot from a dummy. Yeah, we can. You got to remember that. Oh, salute. I appreciate it. I appreciate you for checking in with me. Like I say today, I actually been making plans on going live more and doing it more like at a time where I can actually catch more people. Probably like um, I did a survey one time. I think it was like 8 o'clock Eastern time would be a good time to start because 8, 9, 10 I could pretty much catch a lot of different people from different times. So I'm gonna start doing it later. Um, Being down here, honestly, like I get up so early sometimes about that time, 8, 9, I'll be in the bed. I'll be so tired and went through different things, and I'll be like, man, I'm ready to start over. I'm ready to start over, fam. I read this meme one time that said, those who jumped off the porch early, they're in their 40s acting like they're in their 60s and 70s. We chilling, like, man, I ain't with all that. You looking like, I sit on I sit in the house now and peek out the window and watch people drive by and walk by, and, laugh at folks, man, what they got on. Man, look at so-and-so. That's the type of stuff I do now. You get older, you just, you sit back and just enjoy the opportunity to just to watch people watch. I love people watch, fam. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I mean? But like I say, man, I just wanted to come through and talk. Hopefully, um, I'm gonna start going more live as far as just talking about different random issues. I got a few things that I've been working on, switching things up. Um, I got hopefully some upcoming work coming up in South Carolina and in Georgia. Um, man, I got a lot on my plate right now. I got some decisions I got to make. When you get in that spot where you got a lot of decisions you got to make. That's why I understand when they say it's heavy is the head that wears the crown because, a real king, a real queen, gonna have to make some decisions that might be uncomfortable for some other people that they probably wouldn't do. They'd be like, I'm gonna go with the flow, but you got a purpose. You got more than one person you're thinking about in your kingdom. You know what I mean? So you got to make a decision that's gonna benefit everybody. Sometimes it can be difficult. It can be tough. So I'm going through one of those moments where I got some decision making to make, some moves to make, but I know when it's all said and done, everything gonna work out. So I'm just gonna take it one day at a time, fam, and keep doing what I'm doing. Like I say, I got a few students. I got a few more. I got a few people that's been inquiring about some classes. Um, I'm in an area where uh, there is a high demand on MIG welding, so I'm teaching MIG welding at a price that can actually help them. You know what I mean? Where they can actually start make a deposit, start working on it. Chopping it up. We can even chop it up in two ways. But I like for a person to pay it forward because a lot of times, a person to put you on their time. When I arrange my time and I say, okay, it's 8 o'clock, I'm ready, and then you call me at 9 and say something came up. You know what I mean? So I done waste my time. So it's good to when you're doing business, make sure just keep it business. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna give you my all, but we're gonna keep it business. So you're gonna get your deposits or get your full amount up front when you do your business, and that way you don't have no headaches. Because I have learned one thing when you're dealing with credit, and it's not, and it's not on a reliable basis. All you doing is creating a headache. So I don't like to create a headache, fam. So I like to keep things simple and going. So with these classes, I try to make them affordable. That's why I have different rates. So whatever a person going through, whatever I can help them. And if they want the big thing, we'll go there and we're gonna get that in. But I try to help, with the need, you know. And it's not all about the bag. We know it takes money. It do take money to live. It takes money to do everything. But I feel if I can help them and I can use the little money and invest it in the right things, then I'll be okay. Let me see. I missed that one. I didn't get all of it. Oh man, 16 years, huh? MIG and stick welding. Yeah, I've been doing it for over 20 years now. It's crazy because I had someone I told that to, and they was like, "Man, when you start the other day?" He said, "Man, you look like you've been doing that long." I said, "Nah, I've been doing it for a minute, man." And you know what? I had transitioned one time I completely lost, I say I lost faith in it. I lost the passion of it. Just because, I'm gonna be honest with you, it was just because of the oppression on the job site, the the racism. It just made me lose. I lost passion for it for a year or so, and I was still using it, but I wasn't using it for them. And it just made me, I had to figure it out because after doing time, and I got out of prison, and then after getting out, I went and started working on a job, and I did 10 years in prison, and then I got out and I worked for someone for 10 years. And I figured after then, I did all the time I want to do. I need to figure out how to do this on my own. So I used, what I learned from that and started working on my own. But, the crazy thing is you're going to have stumbling blocks. Things ain't been gravy the whole time, but I have learned a whole lot. And I'm more comfortable now than I ever was. And I'm more comfortable now on relocating and moving around and doing things because I know who I am now and I know what I got to offer. And sometimes that can be the big game changer to us getting over the hump, is to really, really realize who we are, know who we are from in here, Uh, and once you do that, ain't nothing can stop you, fam. Didn't really mean to go this long today. I've been going live with y'all about an hour. Just want to talk about that for a little bit, go over a couple of things, you know what I mean? Just have a little open discussion with my family this morning. But I'm gonna let y'all go. I do have a couple things I need to attend to. Make sure I check you out. Appreciate it. You know what? It's a blessing. It's a blessing to be 42 years old and still, look young. I got a friend of mine tell me all the time, man, you look 25. I said, man, I was no damn 25. But I appreciate the love. Y'all be blessed out there. Continues to prosper. Enjoy your day. Keep getting your hog on, fam. I'm out.